Man, why does this coffee smell like burnt cheese? Hell? Oh, there's so much crap to do today. Aha! I think that's Zeke. Hey, what's up? Big day. How's it going, man?
What's up, bro?
Dude, come in. So, it's a big day. We're moving. It's time to leave this place. And I figured the best way to do that, especially since the only content I can make is about the move right now, since we can't make content during the move that isn't about the move itself, was to make this content about the move. So that's what we're doing here. And I wanted to start by kind of showing you a little bit of behind the scenes where we've been, as well as where we're going. But if none of that sounds interesting to you, you should stick around anyway, because I'm going to talk about the videos that we're going to be doing once we get moved. And you're going to want to hear about those because there are a lot of them. Welcome back to Calibrated. I'm Caleb Dennison, and guys, there is so much to do, but I needed to do this content for one reason. We just got back from CES, and it would be weird not to have any content come out, but also, I don't know, I just felt like sharing with you guys. So we're going to do that now. And I think the best way to get this started is to talk about how we landed here in the first place, especially if you weren't tracking what was going on last year. All right, so let's step out onto the terrace for this section of the story, because this terrace and the view that comes with it are the reason that I ended up at this apartment. It's July of 2025. I'm about a month and a half into getting sued by my former employer. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but I know I can't stay where I'm at. I can't change the look of this studio. And here's the thing is I lived there, right? A lot of folks don't know this, but I lived in that space. I paid a portion of the rent. I paid the insurance. I took care of the spot, but I couldn't keep that look. I needed a new look for my new channel whenever I was going to be able to launch it. And so I went on the hunt for a new home. So when I started thinking about a new place to live and work, I thought of this building that I used to live in 28 years ago. It's a concrete bunker. The neighbors won't be able to hear my stereo system just like they couldn't back then. Seems like an ideal spot. But now that I'm grown up and I make a little bit more money, maybe I could finally have that 13th story corner apartment with the great view of the Portland West Hills. And so Zeke and I moved into this spot and built the set that you're used to looking at now. Like I said, one of the best things about this spot is this 20 by 20 foot terrace. And I had grand plans for this spot. I was going to do outdoor TVs here. I was going to do outdoor projectors here. The problem is this 20 by 20 terrace and the view that comes with it only gets you so far. Turns out the rest of this place is just not suitable long term. I want to be clear, I am super grateful for this space. I'm glad that we were able to have it when we needed it. We've gotten a lot done here. It's just that we have hit the limits. One of the restrictions here is that the freight elevator is really small. I can't do anything larger than an 85-inch TV. And for somebody who's kind of built a whole empire around doing the biggest TVs when they come out, that's a little bit limiting. But not only that, I mean, every time we hit a studio light on the top of the ceiling, I mean, poor Zeke, I think we both cringed a little bit. We've been climbing over stuff, trying to cram big things into small spaces and climb around them and hide stuff like the kitchen. We've constantly been trying to hide the kitchen in the shoots. We're constantly trying to hide the subwoofer and the almost always dying, just verge of death plant over here. The subwoofers, I've got Hisense speakers on a lamp. It's just, again, I'm grateful for the space, but we are putting out really high quality video content. And to continue doing that, we have got to move to a space that's more conducive to the kind of video operation that I'm trying to run here. Unfortunately, moving out of this place is going to be complicated. I think I'm going to start by breaking down the old A-roll setup. We're going to reconstruct this at the new spot, maybe improve it a little bit. I think it's going to be something that grows over time. We'll probably start with this, so it'll be a very familiar look to you, but it's gonna grow over time. Which reminds me, I think the first thing that needs to go to the new studio is the silver play button. Did you know these used to be a lot bigger? They used to be the same size as the gold play button. I don't know why they also used to be heavier and made out of actual metal. I don't know when you cheaped out, YouTube, but come on, you can do better. Anyway, look, there's a lot to pack up, but along those lines, I mean, let me show you what we've got coming. So first of all, this Reggaeton Fred 2 friendly entertainment decoder. There is a whole story here about how this device got me into home theater and AV electronics. I can't wait to unbox that thing, show you how it worked, and tell you that story. Look, we got a whole pile of amazing stuff here. This is a tea set from Bluetti. That'll go over, but that has nothing to do with anything. We've got the Marantz M1 here. We've got the Advanced Paris A10 30th Anniversary Edition. This is an amazing 2 preamp stage integrated amp that I cannot wait to show you. We've got the new Onkyo Icon, both the preamp and the amplifier with the VU meters. Gorgeous stuff. There's the Rotel amp over on the background set that we still haven't reviewed. So much good stuff. And this is just the audio stuff. All of that's got to get packed up. This closet, come check out this closet. This is how we've been operating, y'all. This closet right here is where I keep all of the stuff for our production. I've got bins of all kinds of things. I've got amps, I've got Oppo Blu-ray players, I've got the Bluetti backup power stuff in case we have a power outage. Everything is locked up in this tiny little room. And every time I come into this room to try and find a light stand or a microphone, I die a little bit inside because it's just tough to deal with. You know what I mean? I mean, look, we've been cranking out 3 videos every single week since we got started, right up until the holidays. And then I feel like we made up for the downtime in the holidays with all the CES content, which, man, that was a blast. But we're back home in Portland now. It is time to move. So about that, let's go see the new place. So the story about how I found this place is actually kind of fun and serendipitous, which is why I want to tell you. I feel like the universe is just handing me this stuff right now, which, again, I'm extremely grateful for. So those West Hills that you saw from the terrace, I've been taking 3 to 4 mile walks, maybe 3 times a week up in those West Hills. And there are a lot of nice homes up there. So anytime I see one for sale, I always wonder, I wonder how much this thing costs. I wonder what this looks like inside. So after my walks, I come back, I get on Zillow, and I start, peeping these homes. And on one of my Zillow escapades, this thing pops up in my feed, and I'm like, what is this? It looks like a converted warehouse loft style space, 16-foot ceilings, really big and open floor plan, 1,750 square feet at a price that I honestly thought was a mistake. I look into it a little bit deeper. It looks like they have been having trouble renting it out. And I understand why. It's a very specific kind of property. It just so happens that it suits my very specific kinds of needs. So I head over there thinking I got to find out what's wrong with this spot. There's got to be something wrong with it. There's no way this perfect thing just popped up for me. And I went over there and I tried to poke holes in it. And you know what? It turns out to be actually perfect. The only problem is I've got to lock it down before I go to CES, and then I have to move with a quickness when I get back from CES. But I decided, you know what? It's worth it. On the long term, this is going to be a much better spot for the channel and for the business in general. So in addition to all those audio goodies I just showed you, I've been in contact with projector companies about sending me their UST projectors, because the best time to review projectors is when the TVs aren't coming out. And with the exception of the TCL X11B, there aren't going to be any new TVs coming out until, March at the earliest, but more likely April, which gives me about 2.5 solid months of being in town where I can actually do some reviews on some projectors. But I don't want to give away too much. Let's get into this place and let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, we're here and I'm going to take you inside in just a moment. But first, I wanted to show you one of the main reasons I'm so excited about this new space. It's actually right behind me. That's right, it is a loading dock. This is an older building. It's a converted warehouse, as I mentioned before. And part of that is we have a loading dock. And that's a big deal because that means that trucks can back up with gigantic TVs and they don't have to drop a lift gate or do any of that business. They can just roll it right off the truck. That loading dock leads right to this absolutely massive freight elevator. And by massive, I mean you could fit a Toyota Corolla or 2 in this freight elevator, which is huge for me. The prior 2 places I've been at, getting big TVs, getting any TVs was a huge problem. It took hours of cord. It was a headache, trust me. Here, it's going to be a piece of cake. They roll up, they offload, I bring it up, and from here, we're just a few short steps from the front door. Welcome to the new home of CD Creative Media and the Calibrated channel. Apologies in advance for the echo. We're getting that taken care of very quickly. Don't worry about it. But allow me to share with you my dream for this space before I make it into a reality. So the great thing about this space is that it's a full 40 feet wide, which means I can actually create 2 full living room size setups within this one space. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Over here, we're gonna have the television and 2-channel space. We're gonna focus on doing higher end audio or 2-channel audio along with most of the televisions, whether they're 65-inch or 98-inch or 115-inch, this is where they're going to be featured. Now, whip around to the other side of the space. This is the answer to the conundrum I've had around doing projector reviews. I've always needed to have a separate projector space. Because I have a wooden acoustic slat wall behind my TV and audio equipment, I was never going to be able to put a projector screen back there. I needed a separate space, and now I finally have it. This wall will be the home to that projector screen. I'll be able to have another media console here, probably provided by BDI, thanks in advance BDI, with a UST projector here. Maybe a soundbar system, maybe a more elaborate wireless audio system. The idea is we're going to test projectors and surround systems that don't conform to the normal component AV system paradigm. So that's the main 2 vignettes, but it goes further than that. These spaces here are where we're going to have less expensive media consoles. A lot of you guys have asked, hey, what should I get if I don't want to spend $3,000 to $5,000 on a BDI console? Of course, I can only buy and assemble and review so many media cabinets. That's not really the intention behind this space. We're going to put extra TVs over here. So I'm going to be able to go through 4 or 5 different models within a manufacturer's TV lineup to compare all of them. So imagine me being able to compare the TCL X11L to the QM8L to the QM7L all the way down to the QM6. All in one video because we can house all of those TVs here at once. What about TV versus projector? We'll be able to do that in this space as well. The possibilities are endless, and that's kind of the point. Also, with 16-foot high concrete ceilings, not only can we test reflected Atmos systems, but I can actually suspend dedicated ceiling mounted Atmos speakers so that I can do both kinds of systems. But as you have no doubt sussed out, it is an echo nightmare in here. No worries, I've dealt with that before using the assistance of a very specific acoustician. If you've been rocking with me for a while, you've already met Mr. Phil Allen. He is great at taking care of acoustic nightmares like this, but he's also a musician. And I feel like he just gets it. I've already had him out here. He's measured everything. He's started to order all of the components. It's going to take a little while to get here and get installed, but pretty soon this place is going to sound as great as it looks. Don't worry about this space. This is for private times, if you know what I'm saying. But I did want to introduce you to this space. This big, open, boring space right here will be our new A-roll background. As I said before, it's going to start out looking a lot like what you're used to, but it will evolve over time and you can have a voice in that. What I want to do in this space is have a rotating cast of characters back here, right? Different bookshelf speakers, different turntables, different pieces of vintage electronics from some of my friends out there in the AV industry. I have friends who run vintage audio shops and high-end audio shops. I want to feature some of their favorite pieces in the background here, and you can have a chance to purchase them if you like the looks or the sound of them based on my reviews. Which brings me to the final portion of this video, and that is I need your support now more than ever before. On the short term, that looks like you being patient with us as we get moved into this new space and get to the point where we can start shooting content again. If there's a little bit of a lull in production, your patience would be appreciated. Trust me, we're gonna be right back to it in just a matter of weeks. But on the long term, that looks like your continued viewership, and that includes anytime you see a sponsored video. Your patience there would be appreciated. I'm not going to take a sponsorship unless I think it makes sense, unless it's part of a greater strategy that I have built together. We've already discussed why sponsorships are important on this channel. I'm not going to belabor that point. Just trust that I'm always going to do what I think is in the best interest of you, the viewer. You will always get my completely unadulterated, straight shooting opinion on all of the products that I review, because once again, we do not do sponsored reviews on this channel. What that does mean is that we're occasionally going to be taking sponsored looks at products that I personally find useful or interesting, which means it could be a manual floor cleaner, it could be a robot floor cleaner, it could be a VPN, it could be a digital wallet, any number of different kinds of products. I promise I will keep it to the stuff that I find interesting and valuable. What you guys don't see is how many no's I'm sending out there. I will only give something a yes if I truly believe in it. So hopefully that sponsored content is also going to be useful to you, as it is definitely useful to me, so that we can keep this business running and eventually growing, because I can't launch new channels and I can't support new hosts and grow this whole media empire and give you more valuable information without making sure that this business stays successful and whole. Man, is it echoey in here. I cannot wait to get those acoustic treatments in here. With that, guys, it's time for me to get to work. Tonight, I'm gonna put down all the carpet pad, get all the rugs in here. We're gonna get set up for the movers who are gonna get all the big stuff moved over here in the next couple of days. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do a Just Ask Caleb yet this week. So if you didn't see one from me on Saturday, that's why. I hope that you can, give me a little bit of your grace and allow us to complete this moving project. Because I swear, once we are done and settled, you are going to love the content that's coming out of this new spot. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was valuable to you. If you liked it, let me know down in the comments. If you didn't like it, let me know down in the comments. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I'll see you on the next one. And until then, take care of yourself. And here we go. Welcome to you being a doofus.